Hello, Bookbellas and fellas, Kira here, and today I'm going to be discussing with you what I'm going to be reading for the month of November. I've actually already gotten through a couple books, which are going to be at my wrap-up, and I might even do a in-depth review for one of them. So the two books that I've already gotten to for the month, for the most part, was The Assassin's Blade, which actually carried over from last month's TBR, but I'm really happy to report that I actually finally finished it. This is The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas, and that actually has 5 novellas that are before Throne of Glass. This actually gives a lot of background information about our main character, Selena Sardothian. I feel like it's really going to add to what we know about the character in general. I really enjoyed this, but this is not a wrap-up. This is just about, like the fact that I was reading this for the month, so I will discuss more on this later on. The other book that I've started and I'm already almost done with is The Brilliant Death by Amy Rose Capetta. This is about a girl named Theodora, and it's kind of got like this whole Italian thing going for it. And I really like that whole Italian vibe. It's got like, like this land, and you have like about 5 different families that each own like their own portion of the land. It kind of reminded me like a little bit like of like how they had everything set up like with mafia style stuff. But it's not like really mafia, it's just like more, families. I imagine like though that's probably how it started out. You have Theodora, who is able to turn people into inanimate objects or other animals, and she meets a stranger who is able to shift their sexuality. They can go back from woman to man to woman, and it's just a very interesting take on all of this, and I'm very excited to finish this. I only have 50 pages left, and I am super gnawing at the bit to get through the rest of this. But the next book that I want to read is I actually do want to start the Throne of Glass series. Since the Kingdom of Ash came out, I want to know what all the hype's about, and this is about assassin Selena Sardothian. I imagine like this has to do like with where the other one left off, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, especially if you're trying to read them in order, because I don't want to spoil too much for you, but this should be a interesting book. The next book that I want to read is Dry by Neal Shusterman. I think this is about a bunch of forest fires. Honestly, let me just level with you. After I read Neal Shusterman's Scythe series, and then I also read Challenger Deep by him, which I also really loved when I saw his name on it. This was kind of an auto-buy, so I'm not really totally familiar about what this book is about, but I know like that it's by Neal Shusterman and his son, and they did such an incredible job on Challenger Deep that I am super excited to see what they bring to the table like this time. When he writes, he always writes with such astounding, deep, penetrating ideas, and I love that about his writing, and they always feel so real, and they really put you in to the story itself. So I'm very excited to see where this takes us. The next book that I would like to read for the month of November is A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahereh Mafi. I am guilty of not reading a Tahereh Mafi book before, but this is a contemporary book that she feels is like very close to her heart, and I would like to get to know the author a little bit. I felt like this would definitely be a great place to start for her, especially because it doesn't really have anything to do with any of her other fantasy series, but she's the author of Shatter Me and the Shatter Me series, and she's also the author of Furthermore, and those are both books that I hope to get to, if not by the end of the year, then early next year. And this is about being a Muslim in America right after 9/11. So I'm very excited to read this as well. I didn't put a ton on my TBR. These are just books like that are towards the top of my TBR. There's still more stuff, good stuff coming out this month. There's a new Brandon Sanderson book, Skyward, which I'm really excited to read about. Once again, I'm not really sure exactly what that's about because it had Brandon Sanderson's name on it. So Brandon Sanderson's kind of an auto buy for me. Like, I don't need to know what's going on. It's like Brandon Sanderson's in the wheel he's driving, and I'm like, okay, ride or die. Ride or die. And so I really want to read that as well. And then there's another book that I really want to get into, which is the sequel to Nevermore. The original book was called Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow. And then they have another Nevermore book coming out, which I am very excited about. That's coming out on the 13th. Also Empire of Sands coming out, which I really hope to get to that one soon. I'm not sure if I'll do it this month, but that one's coming out. And then Empress of Seasons. I know like a lot of booktubers have been talking about those. I've had my eye on those like for about 8 months now, and I've just been, I scan Goodreads pages a lot for like new releases, and I came across those when I saw the new releases, and I was just very intrigued. Really enjoyed the premises. They are all fantasies, and so I'm really hoping to get to a bunch more books like this month, because it's just so overwhelming. The season's so overwhelming because there are just so many new releases that are coming out, and I'm trying to get to all of them because I don't want spoilers. I don't want to be ruined for any of them, and that's like a really big concern for me because I don't like spoilers. I like to be surprised. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Kira. If you like this video, hit the little like button, hit the little bell icon if you want to receive emails every time I post, and do not forget to subscribe, and I will see you again very soon.